Hello and welcome to the 114th episode of the Gochuucast. We didn't make the title Lane Spats RS30, but Spat's not here today, as our visual listeners can see here. He
Trying to
is.
think of a really dumb joke about um I don't know, this was stupid. There's no way I could have made this funny. But in my head, because I saw your BFP and I thought of too many losing heroines, I was trying to make a joke that was like too many laying spats to rest. Um and it could not work. I could not make it funny, but I still wanted to mention it.
We
Just
have laid him to
brain.
rest many times. We could make a.
This one's technically my fault though. I
It
may
could have
have
been
murdered
laying
him in
PK
this.
to rest too, had the situation been slightly different, but this is where we
I
are
think
now, so.
it would have been fair if it was laying PK to rest, because I did get stuck late at work on the night we were going to record. However, um, instead I've been spared and murdered Spat in my place. He'll be back.
Maybe. You never know. But yeah, I mean, we were gonna do a tier list, the remaster for the worst anime fan bases, but that's on hold now until next time probably. So I guess for today, I think we're more prepared this time than for the last lane spat to
The
rest.
last one where we had literally done nothing.
Yeah, we're both of us have been majorly slacking on anything anime or manga or anything related to that, and we were both just dead in the fucking water and had to come up with God knows what. But the new season is upon us, so if there was a time for someone not to be able to make it, it was this week, I guess. Um, but yeah, last week we talked a bit about the new seasons, but not everything had aired yet. But now everything that I'm going to be watching has aired.
Yes.
And the only thing I haven't started is the new Sengoku Yoko season. But that, I've talked about Sengoku Yoko before. Granted, who knows, maybe this new arc is a slapper. But
There's
it's
a few
actually,
things I haven't quite gotten to yet. I haven't gotten a chance to watch Atra yet, which is mostly just because it released so much later than everything else that I was like kind of already in the groove of other shows. But A3's been something I've been super excited for, so I am excited to start that soon.
I feel like I've spoiled myself on Sengoku Yoko season 2. So I'm looking at the main cast, and it's not the cast that I was expecting. I haven't finished the first season, so I'm wondering if something terrible
Oh,
happened at
so
the end.
now, oh no. So now you're like, wait, who are these people? What
I'm
is
like,
going
I'm
on?
like, I know you, but you're not supposed to be a main character. I'm like, wait, hold on. All right, what happens in the last
I
three
kind of want
fucking
to hear about
episodes?
that now. When you do find out, I kind of want to know, as someone who probably isn't going to watch Sengoku Yoko, it doesn't care about being spoiled. Now I kind of want to know.
Yeah, and apparently, I thought the whole thing was supposed to be 37 episodes, but the first thing core was 13, and this new season's gonna be 22. So I guess 2 episodes got lost in the sauce. I don't know.
Or they're just going to have, yeah. Is that 2 episodes? 4 episodes? Am I bad at math?
It would be two because 13 in the first
13,
core,
22. You're
and then
right. You're right.
22.
You're
Yeah,
right. Is there like a random recap episode in the middle?
I have
I guess
no.
that would only solve one of those anyway.
Yeah, no, I have
Maybe they'll have a
n-
super finale.
a super
Anyway,
anime maybe. I doubt it, but we'll see. Who can
it's
tell?
not necessarily important. It's just
Yeah, it's just
that is
interesting.
interesting.
I mean, I guess it could just
I
been
w-
like maybe they planned 37, but then they got further along. Like, oh, well, okay, we can
and they
just
were
do
like, "Oh,
this
we
and
don't need those."
less. Yeah.
I've just noticed, um, because it's always funny at this time of the year where you have some shows that are already confirmed, like a core, 2 cores. Um, I just noticed that fucking Deer anime doesn't have a definitive endpoint at the moment, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's like it got leaked, I think, to be 12 episodes, but generally how they get like the confirmation is they'll release like the Blu-ray listing, and then however many like episodes are on the Blu-ray will be how many episodes, the anime has. which is typically how we
That
get our
makes sense.
confirmation.
And I would expect it to only be one core, but it is always funny looking. Like I know 2.5D just got confirmed for 24 episodes, like over the last couple days. Pretty much everything else that I'm seeing here is 12 or around that.
Yeah, I think like most everything I'm watching right now is like 12 or 13. I mean, I say that there's like a few two cores in here, but
Wistoria unconfirmed? Question mark.
I think I got that
Probably
was leaked for
at
12. I
12.
think I don't remember for sure, but I think I saw something like that.
It feels like a 12. It feels like a 12 in the sense of like 12, just kind of dip your toes and see how the people like it. And then maybe you make more.
Yeah, the production
You know,
quality stayed fine, like good in the second episode. So that's
second
good. Like it
episode
wasn't like
had
a one episode thing.
some good, yeah, second episode had some good animation. If we're going to talk about not to discredit how good the animation of Astoria was, because it was really good. If we're going to talk about good animation, um episode 2 of Elusive Samurai
Was extremely good. Yeah,
had some phenomenal animation. Yeah.
it's like it's not just the animation as well. It's like there's the variety of art styles they incorporate into the anime. Like when he's dodging all the strikes from his
Hmm.
uncle or whatever, and like it becomes like the really scratchy like I can't remember, was it black and I mean it was a lot of
There
colors,
was
but
there was definitely a black and white at
yeah,
one
like
point.
that one point, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I couldn't remember if there
There's
are
like
other
a lot
colors
of
incorporated into that.
mhm. There was people talking about after the episode a lot of the, because obviously we'll look at staff sometimes, we'll look just as deep as like a director or something like that, but there's a lot of like the Bochi the Rock and Dress Up Darling like staff on this, which
I
especially
mean,
if
it
you
makes
go like
sense.
deeper into
However, it
it,
works.
which makes sense. um Especially looking at something like that that just felt so like creative and doing all this like just crazy shit and thinking about crazy shit that happens in Bochi the Rock.
Yeah, I'm looking at the director here. Oh, I think is this a directorial debut? Oh, it's done like
I
episode
think it is.
directions.
At least it looks like.
Okay, whatever this is he was listed as director for.
Yeah, this
That's a music
little
video.
music video. Yeah.
Yeah, he's assistant director on
It's
Wonder Egg. Series
he's
director. I
been
don't know
on
what
a
the
lot of
difference
like
between like a
good
series
stuff.
director and
Been on a lot of good, like a lot of stuff. Not even
yes,
just a
they're
lot of good
very
stuff.
like
Just a lot of stuff.
it's very seasoned.
Key animation for tons of things. Go far enough back. Brotherhood, Toradora,
It's always interesting seeing like these staff
Shauna season
things and
3,
like
Chihayafuru.
some people just know like so much like off the top of their heads. Like they'll see a style and be like, oh, that's that guy, and I'm like, I can't fucking do that. Like
I wish, but
I've
at the
only
same time,
recognized one time ever, and that was like my eureka moment. I'll never do it again.
it's like a big One Piece thing is that there's a lot of people that'll come back to One Piece or do certain stuff, and so there are like a lot of recognizable times in One Piece where it'll be like, oh, that guy's back for this.
Yeah, like the only time I ever recognized anything was Keiichiro Saito on Slime 300. I'm like, that looked like a very like Bochi-esque like type of animation. And I go look, he's like, yeah, he worked on episode 6. Okay, that makes sense.
I
But
think
yeah,
there's the season 2 My Hero fight with Deku Todoroki in the tournament, and I recognize that. I think if I remember right, it was the Naruto um is the animator that did a specific fight in Naruto Shippuden, the pain fight.
yeah. I guess
But
speaking outside of the animation, I do have one problem with Elusive Samurai. And that's that I feel it's extremely tonally inconsistent to like a
it
jarring
is
degree. Um,
the
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 priest
comic
guy,
relief
yeah,
priest is like
Yorishie
a
is
lot,
too much sometimes.
and I
I'm
think that that's can potentially something that's just like built into that character because it is such like a it is in like story universe like character trying to be goofy to be like goofy to kind of like bring the main character's spirits back up type of thing. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. It's like a lot every so often.
I've
I
seen
I don't feel like particularly offended by the character being so out of pocket, but then I'm also like,
I've seen some
a
people
little too
talk about it
much.
like it's like a historical type event sort of thing. So it's like all the Japanese people know how this shit's gonna go down, so it doesn't really matter if there's like comic relief in there because they know how it ends basically.
Isn't that like a little disproven in episode 2?
I have no idea. I guess because like
Or maybe I misunderstood that bit
yeah,
where
where he's like
they
he
talk
was a
about.
war general or whatever. Yeah, I don't know enough about Japanese history to be like how how accurate to history is elusive samurai,
I think my
um,
understanding is it's like the general like history and like timeline
but with this
perhaps
source
is like
in
matches
there.
up. But yeah, I'm sure that there's maybe not necessarily historical inconsistencies, but at the very least like changed for a story.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the manga's
I
description right
do
now, and
know.
it's saying like our hero is someone that history is all but forgot, and so he probably just like it just does not exist, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's like I know that people have said like historically the uncle is like a major asshole and not like very well regarded in any way or like held up in any way. So it's like somewhat accurate, but I feel like I just remember reading something from the author that was talking about the historical inconsistencies in the story being like not like a criticism, but just something that's like there are reasons why it's different. So I kind of just from seeing that and not wanting to like delve too much into that rabbit hole, kind of assumed that this is going to be more of like a slightly alternative universe of like the historical stories and not necessarily telling the story of um Tokiyuki, who's like is he a super major character in Japanese history? I mean, I assume so.
Okiyuki?
Yeah.
I don't know if this motherfucker exists. I'm not gonna lie.
No, he does exist. I know that. I just don't know like if this is a story about an actual important person or if it's this is a story of someone who existed. You know, like there's a big difference between
Yeah,
those
I
two
can look at the
things.
Historica wiki right here. Um, okay. Uh,
I mean, yeah,
see,
it does sound
he
like.
seems like he was pretty big, and then he died later. So I guess I know how this ends, but
I mean, yeah, it does sound like it says after the siege of Kamakura, everyone died. He escaped, and then he came back 2 years later, which is what they're setting up in the show, and forced them to flee.
yes. And then later he got captured and
And
beheaded,
later,
but I
yeah,
don't know if the anime is gonna touch on that one.
anime might stop at the
Or,
two
or even
years.
the manga is just like get to the end of it and yep, and that's how that ended. No, we need to look into this history any further.
It's kind of funny though that in the history it says that he went back to Kamakura the 2 years later, forced the usurper to flee, and then later was also forced to flee by that guy's brother. So it's also like this character doesn't win in the history either. He's
Yeah,
uh, but that's the thing, right? So like, is that how this story is gonna go? Because it sounds like this is a
I feel like you
relevant
have
character.
to change like the ending here if
Yeah,
it's like you can't have your character get all the way over it because like everyone's gonna expect it at
like
that point. But
reading this, I feel like my MC is like a side character of history, right?
yeah,
He did stuff. He's named. We know this character, but also I'm like, I don't know. Just based on even like this short catching up on this character and what they did in history, I'm like, I feel like if you do this one for one, the exact same history, it's probably not going to be that great. Like, not like a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be satisfying if it's, you're retelling history in a way that you just want to portray the history. I mean, the nice thing about the first two episodes of this to me has been that they haven't shied away from showing how like brutal that time period is,
Yeah,
while
no,
also being tasteful about it, right? Well, I say tasteful.
lightly.
Think about one specific moment in episode two. That was a lot, of course, but
Yeah.
generally, I think they've done a good job of like making it clear that this is like a brutal time period,
Yeah.
and I'm glad also that that's not at the expense of like, oh, our shonen main character can't kill people because shonen main character.
It is like the one thing that'll always make me happy is when the shonen main character actually does something instead of being like, no, we must be kind. And it's like, sometimes, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I like how they've set up the like dynamic of Tokiyuki in terms of like combat and fighting, but I do wonder if it's gonna get a little like boring and formulaic, right? And I
Yeah.
mean the solution to that is just like making the retainers more entertaining, right? And maybe eventually, you know, building on the groundwork that you've set for Tokiyuki and combat setting. But realistically, these new characters we just got in episode two seem fun, but they didn't like. We haven't characterized them yet.
Yeah, we have
It's
like
just
the
they're there.
bare basics of who they are at
So
this
I
point.
can't say too much about them. It's just like initial thoughts is I'm like, I like the way that they set up Tokiyuki's fighting style. I just hope it doesn't get boring as like the series goes on. And I don't mean that as in like within the 12 episodes. I mean that like by the time you're nearing the end of the manga or however long, assuming the show gets multiple seasons, which I mean the way it's doing and the way people are, paying attention and being like, wow, this shit's popping off. I think so far through two episodes, it feels like the anime is a success,
Yeah.
which is a good sign for both um, manga sales and also just the idea of an anime continuing.
Apparently, they recently had like a big reprint of Lucio Samurai, so I guess it's good news for that manga. Uh, it's interesting just like looking at the scores. It's like not very good manga wise, so it'll be interesting to see if
Well, that's
any of that rears its head during the
yeah, that's what
anime.
I've been talking about with it in Shonen Jump is just the fact that it seemed like it's kind of just been skating by as like good enough. Um, but I mean, we'll see. Anime's been doing quite well. So maybe this is the boost it needs to go from being just like average to an actual like really well regarded Shonen Jump series. It is technically the series that replaced Demon Slayer. It's not like a super fair thing to say, but Demon Slayer left the magazine the same time that Elusive Samurai joined. So
Yeah, but yeah, I've had fun with it so far. Uh, Yesterday night watched the first episode of Atri, My Dear Moments. It's an interesting little thing so far. I think you mentioned
it's a fun
you
premise.
did you watch any of it, or you like are
I
like
have
on the
not
planning?
watched. I have not watched any of it yet. I have seen a chunk of the visual novel from kind of like the beginning ish. So I'm a little. It's been a while though. I'm a little familiar with the like general basis of the story, but I don't remember a ton of details.
Yeah. But yeah, it was in like it's an interesting. I don't know a lot right now, right? But I think what it's set up so far is interesting. Like you have this character who uh isn't like he has this disability, which I didn't even realize at first until I looked at the key visual. I'm like, is he got like
Mhm.
a cane or something right there? And I don't even know if he actually does. But then I read the description, I'm like, oh yeah, he just like straight up does not have a leg or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
but
That's like the. Actually, I don't know if I can say that because you probably don't know. Now that I think about it, without knowing the contents of episode one, I'm going to hold back on that specific comment that I was about to make. Anyway, continuing.
but yeah, the world is like kind of interesting. It's like in a sense, it's like a Weathering with You type of thing where like
Yep.
the everything is kind of sunk, except it's like the post game of Weathering with You where everything is already done. Uh, but it's an interesting concept of like okay, yeah, there's like stuff under the water still, like it's shallow enough we can go down there and get shit. I'll be interested to see because it feels like society is still there to an extent, but to what extent is kind of questionable. Like I have no fucking clue anything like that. I just kind of like have to take the world at face value as it stands, and so I don't. My opinions are mostly on hold, but I'm interested so far,
You're
at
interested.
the
Yeah.
very least. Uh,
I mean, that's pretty much like from what I've seen and what I know of it from the parts of the visual novel that I watched. Um, it's only a little bit more in terms of that knowledge where it's I watched enough that I was like, oh, this is really like coolly set up and I'm really interested in it, but I don't necessarily know like the nuances of everything.
yeah, I wonder. I'm just wondering how deep it'll go into exploring that, or if it's gonna be like, yep, this is how the world is, and you just kind of have to accept that, and it'd be like, oh, okay, sure.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Anytime I remember that Atree's birthday is the day after mine, it makes me sad because I don't have very many high quality characters on my birthday. So seeing a character so close is always disappointing. The worst one being Chinatsu from Blue Box. It's one of my top 10 favorites. Birthday is the day before me.
stuff. I doubt I have anything worthwhile on mine. Let's see. Yeah,
The
no.
most notable character on my birthday is the worst character from Code Geass, so that's where
Uh,
we're at.
the only character I even sort of care about on here, I from Level I have Nijigasaki. Congratulations, you share a birthday with me. But yeah, everyone else on here is kind of like, I don't really care.
Yeah, it's valid.
Anyway, uh, but yeah, that's my current thoughts on Atri is I don't know. Very, very difficult to glean a lot from the first episode. Um,
It's hard to like know what the expectation should be because it's a visual novel adaptation too.
yeah, that is also something to keep
So
in mind.
it's also one of those things where it's like in the visual novel, some of those things we want might get covered, but in a 13 episode anime, I don't know if they're planning to cover the like whole novel in the anime. I would think that that probably isn't possible, but at the same time, it depends because I feel like a lot of VN adaptations have the intention of like let's do one good like speed run through the content and then be like, hey, if you want the full story, go play.
Yeah, visual novel adaptations are like because I mean some of the my highest rated stuff is from visual novels like Clannad and Steins Gate, but it's also like I'm sure I know there's some stuff I have rated in the fucking dumps that are also from visual novels, and so it's like really hit or miss in terms of um just how well they come across in this type of media format.
Yep. So
Which
we'll
I mean,
see. I
same.
mean, it could still be really good, even if
Your mic is like
it's
freaking the fuck out right now.
speed runs like
Okay,
presenting this stuff.
your mic is cooked right now.
You I get the most interested in with something like this.
Okay. I think Discord just caught up to where you were. Try speaking. Oh, he's dead. He's dead as fuck. Okay, that's awkward. Um, yeah, let me pause the recording and be back. Where's the pause button? Shit.
Oh,
Oh, you
I
back?
might.
Oh my god. You're still goobing a little bit.
E.
Hello? You there? I heard E.
E.
Okay, I think you're back.
Hello. I
Oh,
returned.
alright, I didn't even have to hit pause. Yeah.
I don't know if
Goodness,
that's
I
better or
lost.
worse.
You're much better. Like you're like lagging behind. You got to a point where you muted yourself in Discord, but like Discord was still trying to process what you were saying, so the noise was still going through.
What's even funnier about that is I don't know if I ever actually hit the mute button in Discord.
And
Maybe I
shut.
did.
It said you were muted at a point, and then you unmuted. But
Very interesting. Anyway, um, I was probably saying something profound and lost to time.
yes, we'll never know what great things PK might have had to say at the moment that he lost internet
But while we're
power.
on the subject of great things, um, Nauri's best girl. That's all I have to say.
Oh, the twin romance. I
For
mean, yeah,
the
like
twins.
this is Coffee and Baby versus Hydrogen Bomb right here. Like Ruby is like in the gutter. There's this,
Ruby's in the gutter and Nauri's just good girl.
yeah, like it is not. You know what the worst part is? Like there is a oh, man. Here's the awkward part, right? Is how long does this relationship last now? This is such a messy fucking like drama.
Oh, it's gonna be a disaster. I fully feel like this is probably going to end within the next episode or two, and then it's just gonna be fucking.
Then we get like a one
Now
v
we're on
one, I
equal
guess.
playing field. Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's 1v1s.
Yeah, it's just like I because I mean obviously the way the first episode went and now where we are now, I expected him to I maybe expected her to say no for real and then be like I want you
Hmm.
to ask me when you actually want to. But now we're here and I don't really this has definitely been a very interesting like uh approach to like a light novel romance. I was fully expecting this to be like the typical uh like you know we have the twins and they're like the ones that one of them's gonna win in the end, but then you also have like the other romantic candidates or whatever, and then we follow this fucking nerd throughout like however many light novels this lasts. But so far, it's been like
I think it has like
pretty much
7
exclusively like
right now.
it's been like yeah, see that's what worries me. What do you mean seven? Why we're 2 episodes in and there's so much shit going on. You tell me there's 7 novels to this. But it is interesting to get the perspective of
6.
like 6. Okay, it's interesting to get the perspective of the girls instead of the guy because I feel like 99% of like light novel romances are the guy's perspective specifically.
I think that might be my favorite part about this so far has been getting the girl's perspective as like the primary.
Yeah, it's interesting. Um, yeah, I just don't know. I can just feel this getting messy as time goes on. But for right now, I'm invested.
This definitely feels like it's gonna be a disaster. It might not be bad that it's a disaster, but it
I
feels
think
like
I
it's
feel
gonna
like the
be a
one thing I
disaster.
need is I need the anime or like the series in general to like make me like care about Rumi to some degree. Or else this is literally just gonna be like, man, I hope Naoria wins, or else this is dog shit. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it
Yeah, I
is
hope because like
literally.
one of the nice
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I hope that it gets to a point where it's like I at least have a respect for all the characters. Like one of the nice things about like Quince, for example, because everyone has their favorite Quint,
Yeah, I
but
respect it 4 out
generally,
of 5.
yeah, generally most of the Quints are pretty good. Like I would not have been mad with 4 of the 5 winning.
Yeah, but this is like so far, it's like if Ruby wins, what's even the point, you know?
Yeah, why
Uh,
why are we here now?
Yeah, she
Why are
had
we
her
doing all
chance.
this?
She had her chance. This would be like
Plot twist.
interesting.
Both win.
Both win. That would be quite something. I can't say I expect that to be how this ends, but
I didn't really think about the fact that me comparing this to Quince was thematically made sense because twins versus quintuplets. I kind of was just reaching for like a multiple girl series that had most of them be fairly likable.
yeah, works. Yeah, this is definitely interesting so far. Worried. It's like a very laid back approach. Uh, it's just different. We're eating on romance this season. I can't lie.
We are eating on Rome this season. We kind of have like all notes, right? Um, we have this, which is kind of like a laid back, a little casual, but like the looming threat of drama. Um, little sprinkles of drama, just expecting it. Everything will go to shit pretty soon. Ukichi Harem, which is literally just, hey, you want fluff and cuteness?
It's like
Come
literally just
here.
a super cut of fluff.
We have Alia, which is just classic,
Yeah, the
decent
classic tried
quality.
and true harem that everyone generally enjoys.
I hate that I'm gonna put it into the same vein as romances, but Stepsister has been a very like serious story, and unfortunately, pretty sure putting it in the romance genre is the factually correct statement.
It says genre under the romance under the genre here, so I mean, you know. Oh, and have you seen episode 3?
I have not seen episode 3 yet. I know
Yeah.
people were saying there was one weird scene in it.
There is a wild
Um,
scene in there that I don't think you're prepared for, and I wasn't prepared for either.
yeah, I've heard about this, and then I clicked away from that tweet and did not watch the scene.
Yeah, you're gonna put your opinion on pause and watch episode 3, then you'll be like, oh,
Understood, understood. Either way, like I think the first two episodes were quite good, but this is definitely like if I'm putting it on a chart with all these other romances, this is like the most serious one.
yeah, I have liked the direction it's taken so far. Like in every other anime, they would I can't remember. I think this was episode 3. There's a scene where they're eating dinner. Yeah, it's definitely episode 3, not episode 2. They're like just eating dinner, and you know, in any other anime, they're just gonna like cut to the conversation. But in this, they're just like sitting there awkwardly eating, and then one of them speaks. They like talk a little bit, and they go back to awkwardly eating for a little, and it's like no anime besides this one would ever like think to do this.
Just like so real. Like, yep, it do kind of be like that sometimes.
Sometimes you'd just be sitting there.
Um, yeah, 2.5D, the Coomer romance
Oh
for
yes, of
us.
course. And then I
I've
have
yet to
the
watch
magical
Magical
girl
Girl.
one. Yeah.
Um, I've seen a couple screenshots though.
It's cute. Kind of like it gets like an occasional chuckle out of me. Like I'm not like super into it, but it's like it's an enjoyable watch. Uh, and then this is like I think this is supposed to be more of a comedy than a romance. But Makine, I really love the first episode, as you can tell from my profile picture. But
Losing Heroines. I don't
yeah,
know how to gauge Losing Heroines for me. Um, I liked the first episode. It kind of feels like it might not end up being my type of like rom com or, like you said, maybe more of a com rom.
yeah, like I'm wondering how much romance because I mean this is about losing heroines, right? So it's like no way they're gonna make one of them or most of them lose twice, right?
One of them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this continues, but I really loved episode 1. Um, I thought it was very interesting. Like you have this light
The,
novel adaptation, but like hey, it starts off with the main character witnessing like the end of a manga adaptation, basically, or like
mm-hmm.
some other light novel. I don't know, I think it has a lot of charm right now, and I'm excited to see
the
where it
setup
goes from here.
the setup of that was very fun. Just I would agree with that. I'm just not. I know you and Sam really loved episode 1. And I
Nice.
liked episode 1, but I feel like I've actually watched a decent amount of like episode 1s and episode 2s of stuff this season, and to me it was one of those things where it's like this one might be just one that I like and not one that I love compared to like some of the other ones that are maybe just a little more to my taste.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Fucking, I watched the 3 episodes of Cafe Terrace. That also fits into the romance bill for this season. I've got a
I
lot
did
of
forget about
romance on my
Cafe
plate
Terrace
here.
because I haven't watched Cafe Terrace.
Yeah.
I
So,
also feel like if I ever do Cafe Terrace, I might just
you
read
should
it
you
instead
should
of
just
watching
read.
it.
Yeah, you should definitely just read instead. Like you don't gain. Like I mean, it's fine to watch. And I think the voice acting does give it some personality, but otherwise, it's like it's basically the same thing, but it's just that it's a little less horny, I think, than the manga probably is.
Which is valid, but then I'm also like, this is, back to the 2.5D censorship discussion.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessarily why I'm there, but at the same time, if I'm gonna be here for horny anyway,
If the horny's gonna be there, just let me have
like,
it, you know?
I
Like
might
don't
as well just
dangle
go
the
all out.
keys. Yeah. But yeah, I mean Cafe Terrace it's just been more I'm sure I talked about Cafe Terrace at some point on this podcast, so go find go find that episode.
More of that.
Yeah. Um yeah. I have enjoyed all the romances so far. Definitely eating on that front. Um I think one of the interesting things with Machina as well is that it's like apparently Aniplex has, or A1 rather, has like a lot of their core staff on this. Like like they're putting their foot forward on this. And they wanted to like even before the first novel dropped, apparently they wanted to make it an anime, which I don't know like what they just like heard the concept and like that's cool, let's do that. I don't know. It's an interesting like way of doing things. Like this isn't even out, but we want to do this. Could be dog shit. Could be great. Who knows?
I can't get the thought out of my mind with Machine of it just being a loser's bracket anime. Which I mean, yes, but it's just like the thought in my head was funny.
Losers bracket
Like this is
is
just a loser's run. I mean, I guess that depends entirely on whether it does end up being a romance or not.
it has romance under the genre, but I've like from everything I've heard, it's like that is not the focus. It is more about the comedy of everything, which I guess we'll get more of the vibes of in like the coming episodes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think what's interesting is so far like we've seen one like actual loss at the very start of the episode, but
And we've
like
seen
a
the
couple of the
other,
other characters are
yeah.
like in the process of losing, and so it's like I wonder if
So you can
will
accidentally
they
witness them all.
are they gonna take the L, or is like maybe the concept would be like trying to get them um
The
uh,
dub.
okay, reading the description, I think we will see their L's at some point. I think uh yeah, apparently he's gonna get entangled with other people who've met defeated love is what the description says. So I guess this is just gonna be like literally just babysitting the losers and making them feel better. I don't know. Um
Could be funny.
yeah, we'll
I mean,
see.
probably is funny,
Yeah.
especially if people are saying that like the draw of it is the comedy.
Yeah. Just looking at the producers, Good Smile Company's on here. I think does that mean we're gonna get figures of this like
Nendo
Nintendo's?
have a Yanami Nendo.
I'd buy that maybe. We'll see.
I just unfair when I look at the main female characters in this, and it's like I don't really generally like tan characters, and I don't like little girl characters. So then I'm like, by default, and the blue haired character is very cute, Yanami. But by default, I feel like, well, that's probably gonna just be my favorite.
Yeah, apparently there are more but we haven't gotten to those. So
This is gonna be a 100 girlfriend situation, but instead of a
100
hundred
losers.
girlfriends, it's a hundred. It's 100 girls that got rejected and are now just chill friends.
It's just the fucking like a group of just people who've like a Facebook group of people who've just been rejected.
I do kind of like the idea of this just being like a trauma bonded group of people and not just like, oh, all these girls lost and are now going to slowly fall in love with MC.
I
Like
like
it'd be
the
more
way the
funny.
anime kind of like approach like there are two girl. There's the childhood friend and there's the home wrecker. And I'm like, yeah, that would be. I always feel bad because I usually like the childhood friend more, and then the home wrecker comes through.
I almost always like the childhood friend more, so same.
It'd be like that sometimes. Um, second episode of the Shoshimin series. This is one that I was like, I need to see more of, and I regret to
Is that
inform you, I
the
still need to see more. It's the Shoka author one.
right?
Yeah, I like.
The one that I look at and I think of, oh, that looks like it would be a shojo, and then it isn't necessarily.
Yeah, like I got through the second episode. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the Hyoka author, but I'm like, is that a good thing? Like, if I will say that it is very uh engagingly directed, and the production quality in general is very great. I like the characters and the banter between them, but I don't know. It's like it's very interesting. So like within 2 episodes, something needs to happen. It is like or more needs to happen for me to get into this because right now it's like we've solved like two mundane mysteries and it's like it's they've like spun them in an interesting way, but at the exact
What's
same time
specifically a
it's like
mystery?
this is literally Hyoka but not. It just feels like another Hyoka
Interesting.
so far, and so I'm like interested to see if maybe I've seen the spoiler tags for this shit. Like it can't surely can't go on the way that it has. So it's like
Well, now I want to go click the spoiler tags.
I think you have clicked the spoiler tags and you just don't remember what they are.
Is this the one that had? I probably don't want to say it on. Yep, it is the one that had that. Okay.
Some crazy shit's gotta happen, right? I'm just waiting for that to happen because I'm watching this series. I'm like, holy shit, they poured the fuck out of that milk. But it's like I can't say that every episode. Like you can only animate so well and make me so interested. But yeah, that's where I stand right now. Is I need more. Like a lot. I need to see the full 10 episodes.
We're gonna end the season, and you're gonna be like, I need a little more before I can make a
Yeah,
judgment
I'm
call.
gonna need a season 2. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm generally enjoying it, but right now it's like a solid 7 out of 10, where it's just like in that realm of yeah, it's pretty good, I guess. But doesn't do enough to like reach any higher. Sort of the same. Okay, maybe this is a little less, but the cheerleading one.
Yeah, the cheerleading one. So I think I talked about this um last week potentially, and I mentioned that the cheerleading one has the director. I think it was the director worked on
Might
Mygo.
go, yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about all this, and a lot of those series are also very like a lot of the other series that they had worked on too are also very like slow starters,
Yeah, like
and so this one also feels like it's just like a slow starter.
the way I've looked at this so far is like I feel like I'm missing a lot of context to the drama they're setting up, and it's like this is like something that feels like it was designed to be binged in a way, like the way that it's set up, because there's a lot that I don't know, but I'm like learning it week by week.
Mm.
Um, and so I'm like, okay, where do we go from like I don't know. There's a
My
lot.
Mygo did a lot of the same.
Like the characters clearly all know like everything, but I'm being left in the dark here. I'm not being given like any history to this or context. I have like mild flashbacks that don't tell me a lot. I don't know. Because like I don't know, I look at the description and I'm like, this motherfucker can definitely still jump, so that was a lie. Um, yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this series. I
It
don't.
does sound like the whole ki- thing that we got. Did you watch episode 2 yet?
Yeah, I did.
You did, right?
I
I
guess
mean,
it
we
was a
got from
mental
episode
thing.
2 that it was, yeah. From episode 2, we were supposed to infer at least that it was a mental thing. That was the whole point in the little audition scene.
Yeah, and her like preparing
Which,
for it as well. But yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm interested. Like, are they ever gonna give the full context of what happened with like the competition? Because I mean, personally, I don't know jack shit about cheer, but it didn't seem like it was her fault that she fucked up or like something fucked up there.
see, yeah, that's another thing I don't fully get is like the girl from the team who's like the tough love on her, right?
Yeah,
And like super strict and everything, sounds like pissed at her for like screwing up in that competition. But then when I we watched it, I was like,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
I don't. They threw her up, man. Like, I can't do nothing.
uh,
I don't know what to
I
think
mean,
about
I'm
this.
sure, I'm sure, like I can come to understand how and why it's on her, but at the same time, like,
I need the explanation.
yeah, I don't have the technical knowledge to like fully understand why it's one why it's on her, and also two why it's like such a huge deal.
I mean, they
I
probably
know,
like
like,
lost a competition because of it. Um,
but isn't that the one they won? That they were like holding up the trophy with
I think
the.
it was a different one.
I mean, maybe yeah,
No,
you might be right.
because she's a second year right now, isn't she?
I thought she was. She might be just now a second year.
I
I
think
thought
she's
she was
a
still a
second
first
year.
year, but you. I think
Because
you're
they won the
probably right.
championship in middle school or whatever, but then like I guess she fucked up in high school and now she's like second year and auditioning now. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
because
that's where we are.
they said she was the first year to make the that previous tournament, which is also like a thing to note about like sporting event environments that like first years are going to make mistakes. Um, and like generally most of the characters seem to understand that, but that one girl doesn't necessarily rub me the wrong way. But I'm like, without the knowledge, I just feel like you're
I
being a little too
definitely
harsh.
need more on this. Like I don't get it.
But the part I do empathize with her being so harsh on a flyer in particular is that when they're getting tossed around and jumped like that, like it is true that a mistake could be like physically endangering to like both, especially the person doing all of the jumps and everything, but also to other people. So like I do understand and empathize with that portion of like being really tough on her.
Yeah, we'll see as time goes on. I feel like there's gonna be something I look at the end, like yeah, 6 out of 10, and then be like it was all right. I don't know
Yeah, I think it's
if I
either
see it developing much from here, but we'll see. It could be peak fiction. Who knows?
the thing is like it's tough for me now because now I have in my head like, oh, this is like done by people that did like a lot of the really good Bandori productions and MyGo and stuff like that. And so now in my head, it's I'm gonna be holding it to like that standard, and that might be what it is, might not necessarily be what it is. I'm enjoying it still. I'm certainly going to see it through, but I do think in the back of my head, I'm like, well, MyGo started pretty slow, and then for me ended phenomenally. So I definitely feel like part of me is like, maybe this will be the same.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. I feel like a lot of a lot of shows this season. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. Which I guess is like fair at the start of any given season,
Yeah,
but
one and two episodes in, like it is totally valid for a show to be in a
in
I'm
like
not
a
sure
more
stage.
question mark. Yeah, like right now question marks are okay. Like there are obviously shows that I'm more like enamored by. Um, but
It's also like the big productions are almost always going to have like really strong episode ones and twos, right?
yeah,
Just because they one can afford like Elusive Samurai can afford to throw in some crazy animation stuff in episodes 1 to 2, and not have to worry about like, oh, we're gonna run out of budget for whatever our finale is. I mean, still have to worry about that, but generally.
Yeah,
Whereas in
and budget is like only part of it. I mean, most of it is like just having the talent on hand, which like
manpower, yeah,
Cloverworks definitely has.
that's why it's hard to judge stuff like Nare Nare, Dungeon People,
I mean,
which
PA
I
Works definitely
still
has
haven't gotten
talent,
to
but
see
it's like
yet.
kind of divided right now because they have another original airing. They have two shows airing, or three. They have three shows airing right now, all in this one
Hmm.
season. Um, which is interesting. I wouldn't have expected like them to be airing all of this in like one thing.
That once, yeah. But it's just like the fact of like these like lower down productions having to kind of like it's when I do say budgeting, I don't just mean money. It is also like budgeting people and manpower, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of anime productions, like I'm not bringing LeBron James out for all 82 games.
I mean, yeah,
It's
you
I'm
like
bringing
literally
LeBron
can't do
James
that.
out. Yeah, I'm bringing LeBron James out for like 10 games. In the same, or in this case, maybe I have LeBron James for 2 episodes, and it's like, well, what episodes am I going to put LeBron James on?
Yeah.
Episode 1 is like an interesting place for some of these shows, but it's also valid if they know how the story is for them to be like, let's just do our thing at the beginning and build up to the big finale stuff that we want to do, or like really pop off for the big moments.
Yeah. Um, Tower of God exists. No. I'm like,
It's so tough. Um, my first instinct when you said that is unfortunately, and I was like, that's a little
it's
rough.
harsh. It's like
It is a little
fine
harsh.
right now. Like nothing draws me to it. Like I think one of the benefits with Tower of God and what I went through with it is that I read it and so I could just keep going. And right now it's like we're at the start line for this like arc, and I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, sure. Um, man, I need. There's so much I don't remember. It's so funny. I'm just thinking
It's always
about.
like weird to watch or
I
like
mean, this is
reread
shit that
something.
happened hundreds and hundreds of chapters ago, and I'm like, oh boy, I don't remember jack shit. It's always
Yeah,
weird, like seeing, like people will be online talking about this stuff, and they're like, oh my god, this part and this part and this part. I'm like, yeah, I wish I. There are times I'm like, I wish I was dedicated to just like one series and nothing else, and then I could just remember
yeah,
everything.
because you're just like, I read this one time and
I read
a
this one
long time
time
ago,
years ago with hundreds of chapters in between, and now I don't remember anything.
and I
My
paid like,
bad.
yeah, I paid like average attention to it too. Is an important thing because also sometimes you read the things just the one time, but it like hits, and you're like, oh yeah, this shit's gas. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff with like ReZero that you only read one time, but it was just like, oh, I love this shit, and so it just like commits to memory. I know I get that with One Piece.
Yeah, like ReZero, Tomazaki, like stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm reading Peak Fiction right here. Dedicate this shit to memory. But then I'm reading like literally anything else, and I'm like, that was a good chapter. And then
You're like,
like
oh yeah, that happened.
maybe like in a year, I'll be like, I'll forget about that chapter that I said was good.
Been
Yeah.
me, seeing like a lot of like the PVs and everything for Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, and it was like the same, right? Like I read the first like good probably year or so of 100 Year Quest coming out, just as like, oh, there's more Fairy Tail, let me check it out, and then it was pretty like decent and fun. But then I'm like looking at all the promo stuff and things like that, and I'm like, I really only remember characters in like a few select moments.
Yeah. I wish I could just remember everything. That'd be awesome. Except my brain only remembers like stupid shit that I don't need.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, you want to remember like hundreds, if not thousands, of songs for AMQ? Sure. You want to remember the
hey,
storylines though? Yeah.
Hey, you want to remember every single Pokemon and like half of their base stats? Some of that.
On go. Like, there are times like people will be like wondering information, and then I'll give it to them. Like, how the fuck do you know that? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like,
Like, I wish I could tell you why my brain is like this.
yeah. It's
Just
like
imagine we
I
use
hate
our
being like
brain
the
space on
oh well actually kind of person, but then
yeah,
you just know something that someone else gets wrong. Like, ah, okay.
yeah, we use our brain space on fucking anime and Pokemon, and then some people use their brain space on curing cancer and
We're not the
stuff
same.
like that. We're not the same.
We're not the same.
My
I
brain is
choose to,
reserved for hobbies.
my brain goes to fiction, and then everything else is gone. I
I need
don't
to
know.
watch episode 2 of the VTuber anime still, because I episode 1 was so much, but it was fun, and so now I'm like, I guess I'll keep going because I enjoyed it. Like I had fun for the 20 minutes I watched, but then I'm also like, what shit are they gonna do?
Yeah, I don't foresee myself starting that one or anything else this season. Actually, I got way too much already. But um,
Seems valid, but I don't remember what you haven't started to tell you that.
I don't think there's anything that I haven't
I don't
started that
think
I'm
there's
like
anything you haven't started that
maybe.
I'm offended by because I got you to watch Gijihirem.
I was gonna watch it anyway. I don't. Yeah, just looking here, I'm like, there's nothing on here where like I need to be watching this at this moment in time.
I almost wish it doesn't really like change anything about the series, but I almost wish Gijihirem was being adapted into shorts instead of
I feel like it would benefit
full
so
length.
much from 12-minute episodes.
Hmm.
Like just cut these episodes in half, make it two core, and go on. Like it would help so because I watched one episode, right? I was gonna watch all three, but then I watched one. Like I felt like I just watched 10. But like
Like I
it's
don't personally feel offended by it because I love this series, but I'm also sitting there watching it and I'm like thinking of the source material and everything. I'm like, we probably could have just done like a nice like half year to full year run of shorts of this, and it have just been more like naturally consumed, I guess.
yeah, like I enjoy what I watch. Like it felt like forever, but it was an enjoyable time at the very least. But it did feel like when I finished that episode, I was like, I didn't even finish the episode. I was like 20 minutes in probably. I'm like, holy fuck, when is this gonna end? Like, I feel like I've been here for like an hour, but it's only been episode one. It's just because
The Hayami show.
there's just like literally nothing to focus on at any given time. Like you are just going from place to place to place to place to place to for all these different scenarios, and it's like there's nothing wrong with it. Like it's an adaptation of a very like short chaptered manga, so that's just gonna be how it goes. But it feels awkward in 24-minute episode format.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could have been very not necessarily improved, but I think shorts made a lot of sense for it. And it's interesting to me that they didn't do shorts and instead just did full size
Yeah, I
anime.
don't
But
know
I
the
also
decision that
I
goes
don't
into
have
that or anything, but
yeah, I was gonna say I don't have a lot of knowledge about like Japanese like TV and shorts airing and stuff like that. It's like very possible that shorts just like don't get good time slots on TV or things like that. And so it's like from a business perspective, it might just be eternally better to have it in a TV format so you can like, guarantee like good TV slots.
yeah.
But I don't have the knowledge to know if that's the case or not.
Yeah, the one other observation I had is this main character. I said this yesterday. This motherfucker is like eternally tired. He is
Some
bad.
sleep.
He's got bags on his bags. Like he looks cooked
So
in every
this
single
is
scene.
this is what I was talking about before you had watched it when I was talking about how I feel like the anime did a really good job doing its animation in a style that really matched the manga. But then I also wonder if they had gotten a little more, I don't want to say generic, but if they had done a little more like kind of modernizing it, touching it up, if it would have been like really good looking.
I think it looks fine as is. Like my literal only complaint is like this motherfucker is consistently tired and looks a little off. Like,
I agree. It's just funny to see it match the manga so stylistically when like so many other series just say, "Hey, we're gonna match the art style of our main animator." I mean, Alia is like a great example of this. It's not like the Alia character designs don't match the novel or manga designs, but they definitely are super like inspired and matching the designs of that they have just been done for stuff like Shikamori and all of the like other things that a lot of that group that's doing it has done with Dodokomo.
yeah, I mean Ace is like a very anime type. I guess it's the
Look,
best way to put it. But yeah, I mean, not that you could ever match like what light novel art does. Um, in like an anime format, you have to have like some go hands. Like, have you seen look up Momentary Lily, and this is
mhm.
like what it means to have like a light novel hair in your fucking anime, dude. It's literally insane. Gohan's making cinema yet again.
But that's why I say like holy shit. That's why I say like
Yeah,
it's interesting to me that Gigi Harem does match so heavily to the source material, which I
yeah.
think is both a like good decision but also a risky decision.
You know, this Momentary Lily thing,
Jesus.
like the trailer, a lot of people are shitting on it. I kind of like vibe with the aesthetic. I can't lie. Like maybe
Yeah,
it comes out and
let
might
me
just dog shit, but like
this is a Gohan's trailer for
I know.
sure.
Like I watched him like
There's
that.
one thing
I didn't even know it was Gohan's when I first watched him. Like, oh, that looks like this is Gohan's for sure. And I'm like, yep, Studio Gohan's.
off rip Gohan's ass trailer. I do kind of vibe with it.
I'm just, like, I feel like, oh, my eyes are bleeding. I'm like, y'all got too much Gohan's like prejudice on the board. You know, like it doesn't look that bad.
I mean that's why when the blue box Gohan's rumors were going around, I was like, well maybe it'll be okay.
Maybe. Yeah, I
They
mean,
did
I think it's for the best you don't have Gohan's because their track
the
record
blue box
is, you know,
blue box looks so good. I'm very happy with everything I've seen from it. There was a little bit when I watched the PV, they showed some of the like sports action shots and they looked like they might be a little clunky, but I'll wait to hold that thought until I actually see like the animated product.
yeah,
But like art style and just like aesthetically, it looks great. I would say that was the one thing I noticed from the trailer that was a little like interesting is they showed um like a shot of him playing badminton, and it felt like one of those shots to me that was like if I was strictly a romance fan or like not super familiar with sports anime, I probably wouldn't even notice. But because I am a sports anime fan, it was kind of like, oh, that's like okay, but maybe not the smoothest thing I've ever seen.
yeah. And it's kind of how it be sometimes. They're probably gonna focus more on like not the sports, which I mean, Blue
Season
Box was
one
never
is
like
pretty.
super worried about the sports, like at least in the beginning. Later on, I'm sure it's more. I know it's more in depth with that, but early Blue Box is kind of like it's kind of on the side.
Yeah, I think it does a good job balancing everything with the sports and romance, but early on, it's definitely like the first season is going to be much more heavily on the side of setting up characters and romance and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now I get to watch Hina's demise twice in
Yep.
tragic
That is
fashion.
true. The most
I don't think
telegraphed
that
loss
would.
of all time.
I don't think that would even be season one content. I can't remember. I guess maybe it
It will
would.
not be season one
It'd have to
content.
be like the very,
No
very
shot.
bitter end.
They would have to be going fast. Which I mean, maybe they are. I don't know at what speed they'll
Yeah, maybe they'll fuck
do,
up the
but
adaptation. You know,
do we know? We probably don't know how many episodes this will be,
I'm sure.
most likely.
I want to
But
say might have seen something.
I would say 12 makes a ton of sense.
I
But then
think
I
I might
also,
have seen 12 or 13, but I might be lying as well.
yeah, I think 12 or 13 makes a lot of sense because I think that would be probably a decently natural place for it to end, based on me like mental math. There's no way you'll see Hina's demise in the amount that I think they would adapt in 13 episodes.
I'm not seeing an episode count here. Episode counts usually come out like more like close to
Yeah, I wouldn't
the
expect
actual,
to
what's
have
it
an
called?
episode count yet.
Well, I'm in like leak wise, but usually
Yeah,
the
yeah.
leaks are closer to the start or whatever.
Oh, they put fucking Haryu's voice actor is the voice actor for the Shangri-La Frontier main character. That's fun.
I'm excited for season 2 of that. I'm so glad we got one so fast.
Oh yeah. I should probably actually put that on my plating.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited for like the season good, but October has got some fucking slappers that I'm extremely excited for.
I feel like this season we're getting like, at least for me, this season is like getting all the romance that I've been waiting for, and the next season is like, hey, Shonen's back. We got fucking Dada Don, Shangri-La Frontier season 2. ReZero is, I guess, probably I wouldn't call ReZero Shonen,
I mean,
but like action
it's gonna be
maybe.
action packed season, so
Blue Lock season 2, Danmachi 5. I haven't actually gone through, and I'm about to plan a bunch of stuff now because I haven't actually gone through this season.
early
I'm not gonna
shopping.
scroll. I'm not gonna scroll too far because I want to save the real shopping for the shopping episode. But just off initial like things that I'm obviously going to be watching: Danmachi 5, Blue Lock season 2, ReZero season 3. Like
Yeah,
those are
there's
definites.
some slapper. The return of Love Live Superstar.
The return of Supercar.
I hope season 3 does better making
Hey,
me
I
like
hope season
characters that I
3.
don't like.
Yeah, I hope season 3 also explains to me the fucking end of season 2 in a way that doesn't piss me off. We've talked about this before, on air, but
Oh, I just read the character
I'm still
description for
mad.
this Tomori girl. And I can she's off on a bad foot right now.
Oh no.
She's the younger
Hold on.
sister of Natsume, dude. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This bitch has a
Oh
sister. You
no.
gotta be kidding me. The worst character in Love Live has a fucking Satan spawn beneath her. Maybe she's better. Maybe she's better.
Hopefully, it sounds like she's better.
I mean, I don't know anything
She
about.
likes she likes jellyfish. That's what it says. Favorite animals, jellyfish. Just like I'm gonna stop reading about this character now before I actually read something important. But just off of like the quick read that I did on her, it sounds like she
There's absolutely
probably
nothing important here. She exists. That's basically the
yeah.
description.
It sounds like the expectation is she'll be the opposite of Natsubi, in which case we've done it.
Yeah, but I don't know. We got Natsume on the team. Margaret, I already don't like, and now she's gonna be on the fucking team. God knows how that's gonna turn out. You know, there's a
I
lot
like
riding
Margaret,
up.
but like I didn't like Margaret in like a let's get her on the squad way.
I didn't like Margaret, and I
And I
definitely
didn't
don't
like
like
how
her
her
to get on the squad
character
right away.
yeah. I didn't like how her character arc in season 2 like resolved. I was gonna say concluded, but I don't know. I liked the way she was set up, and then I didn't feel like they did it
I think she
correctly.
served a purpose, but I don't think she as a character was like good. Like she was kind of like the it's interesting trying to see someone go solo through like the Love Live thing, and then it's like, yeah, people, your songs may be like really good, but your performance
Mm-hmm.
is like, sleeper because you are alone, not
Because
really
it's
doing
just you.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like the Love Live spirit, I guess. Um, I think that's an interesting like thing to throw in there, but I think her character was done like doo doo.
Yeah, I would agree.
Not that I'm expecting like peak writing from like a Love Live or anything, but but yeah, it'll be interesting. A lot of things looking forward to. Um, Fuck, dude,
Just
I want the
pissed.
ReZero episode count, dude. I want that so bad, like so bad.
What
I
were the
want the.
one rumors that were like debunked or just like generally bogus?
There's like
They're
35
like, yeah, it's
episode
gonna be
rumor or
50
whatever.
episodes or some shit.
Yeah, there's also like the 50 episode stuff, but it will definitely not be 50 episodes. But I think we might get maybe we get close to 40. I don't know, dude. It's like it's difficult to
Based
say.
on the, I mean, I feel like based on just previous ReZero trends, which novel is this? Five that it's doing?
Arc 5.
Arc five? Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the
Sorry,
novel is uh
probably
16
much higher.
through
Yeah.
20, and then I think 21 to 25 is Arc 6.
My gut with the way that they've been treating ReZero is probably they will do Arc five, and so it's a little bit of a question of like how many episodes is Arc five.
I mean,
Um,
obviously they're in finish arc. Arc 6, I'm pretty sure is like basically confirmed to like also be.
to also be in this. Okay,
Yeah,
so maybe
I
it's
don't
like,
know. We don't know if they're gonna like split it up. They will probably split it up, but
yeah, I could see like Arc five for like part one, and then either a part two Arc six or like a fast-ish turnaround to season four. Probably part two Arc six if you've said it's already confirmed to be involved.
yeah, I don't think they'll be because the light novel artist, like like the art he did, like we saw at the when we watched like the
Hmm.
first trailer come out, like he had Arc 6 stuff in there, so I think it's just gonna be one fat season with like maybe a little break in between.
Yeah,
Um, but we'll see. All we know is that like one of the big names in the ReZero community has said like he knows, well, we know he knows the episode count, and he likes teasing that he knows the episode count, but he says it will be a satisfying episode count, and that could mean a lot of
which is
things.
good to know. That could mean a large amount of things. Oh, it's also sad. If we had went to AX this year, we would have gotten to watch the first
I was
episode already.
so mad about that.
I just noticed that.
Like I would have been so hyped to go to AX, and ReZero episode 1 could have been a thing. I would have lined
Should
up
have
for
just
that. That would have been my like we
should have
sat
just
in the
gone for one
fucking
day.
just fucking fly to
You
LA
just
for one day.
fly to LA just to watch the ReZero episode early. Honestly, you wouldn't do that, but at the same time, I'm like, I wouldn't be that surprised if you did that.
Yeah,
Worst
listen.
things you could just fly out to LA for a day for.
I spent money on dumber shit, but like today, like I bought a $400 Bloodborne machine. I got a PS5, or ordered one at least. Not that I'm
See,
only getting to play Bloodborne, but
I really want to play NCAA football,
that is
but
like
it's not on
part of the
PC.
reason. Yeah, I was so mad it wasn't on PC. I'm like, fuck, dude. Now I can't like. Now there's multiple games I want to play that are on PlayStation. I can't just like wait for an emulation.
Like, I feel like at this point, I'm gonna have to pull the trigger on a PS4, but I just bought parts for a new PC coming soon. Hopefully, once I have new PC, I won't cut out the second I'm doing anything on the side.
Yeah, like if it was just NCAA, like I would not have gotten
That's the problem
a
for me. It might
PlayStation. But
be
I'm like,
just NCAA.
I want to play Bloodborne. I want to. There's the Demon Souls remaster, which I could just emulate Demon Souls on my computer if I wanted to, but I don't. I can't do that for Bloodborne yet. That's like years and years away. So
I'm kind of hoping they'll just like surprise us and do like NCAA for the holidays on PC or something. And it probably won't happen, but copium.
yeah, just from everything I've seen of the game, looks fun. I just want to fuck
Looks
around with
fun.
the team builder.
I mean, it definitely looks like it suffers from a lot of the same issues that like the Madden suffer from. but it looks entertaining.
Yeah, it's like
And I mean,
a
NCAA is a
different vibe.
very yeah, exactly. I did laugh. There, have you seen the tweet floating around where someone posted a clip from the game of the Nebraska player just like breaking 4 tackles and doing a spin and like getting to the end zone?
Yeah, they're like, this is
And they were
so
like,
unrealistic, and it's like, here's something
yeah,
even
and
more
then
unrealistic that happened in
yeah,
real
yeah,
life.
fucking all the Nebraska fans have been pulling up Taylor Martinez highlights, which Taylor Martinez is phenomenal. I if he had an arm, he might have gotten into the league, but he did not have an arm. But it's just so fun. People posting like the exact same sequence and like just other highlights from just Nebraska doing crazy shit or like other teams doing crazy shit. But I think it's so funny that that person went, yeah, this is realistic, and then immediately got multiple clips from just the same team. Not even like throughout all of college football, just like, yeah, we have clips just from Nebraska of this happening.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I haven't. I had a PlayStation 3, but and 2, but went to Xbox One because that's what my friends were on. So it'll be weird going back. I can already tell I'm gonna be hitting like the wrong buttons because
Oh
like
yeah, absolutely. Because it's gonna say on the screen like, "Oh, hit this button."
yeah, it's gonna say hit X. I'm like, oh boy, X. That's on the left, but that's on the Xbox controller, not the fucking PlayStation controller. Yeah, I guess my
The
Xbox
nice thing is
controller
that
is
you've
just gonna be an Elden
played
Ring player.
football games,
Oh
so
yeah,
like there's a little bit of muscle memory to just the fact that you've probably played enough that you know,
I mean,
like,
yeah, it just says like the
oh,
different.
the wideout on the left is gonna be the left button, right?
I mean, not really. I definitely just I look at the letter or the symbol or whatever, and then I know where that is based on muscle memory, and I click that. And so it's definitely gonna fuck with me for a while until I like learn like the PlayStation
Maybe
buttons.
maybe I've just played too much of NCAA 14 then, because I know like the positions by the button you generally like based on the formation. I know like, oh, this is the button that'll be the tight end.
I definitely never paid enough attention to like the formation. This will be this button, unless I like know by heart like the play or something like that. Like I know like in this play the halfback is gonna go out and I can hit RB and he will be in the flat or whatever. Like that stuff is easy enough, but
Mhm.
um yeah, I can't like the wideouts and shit. I'm not gonna remember that.
No, I definitely know the position of the buttons based on what receiver I'm throwing to because I have brain rot. Anyway, I really want to play it, but I also am like, I don't I don't know that there's that much stuff on PS5 that I would like partake in if I get a PS5. And it's like I know that probably eventually I'll want to pull the trigger on a PS5. It's just, it's hard to justify when like the two main games I would want to play on a PS5 are NBA 2K, which is not really a worthwhile investment, and then NCAA, which is a good investment if I were playing other things.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need a PlayStation. I don't need it. I don't need it. And then today, like, I just saw so many like the Team Builder beta or whatever is out, and motherfuckers were playing as Monsters University on the
Mm-hmm.
football field. I'm like, I have to get the I gotta
Like
play
I
this
have to
game.
be there.
Like I can't not do this shit. And so I'm like, fuck it, do
I
whatever.
am. I'm really disappointed though because one of the things I really wanted, and this is such a niche thing, I can't even be mad that they don't let you do it. But for Road to Glory, it's obviously position locked
Yeah,
to a few runs, and they made that list really short this year, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But it was like it was kind of fun in 14 to be like, oh, I'm gonna play as a D tackle, and just like, oh, what can I even do as a D tackle?
yeah,
It's like figuring out how to play D tackle. But one of the things that I think should be in Road to Glory that hasn't been for a while, like even in 14 it wasn't, is I feel like I should be able to do a Road to Glory as a kicker.
yeah,
It's such like a niche ask, but it's like I don't know if I want to just in an afternoon do an entire career as a kicker and only kick and only do kickoffs and field goals and just like become the goat kicker. It just sounds funny. I know that like people don't like that because it's so much less control over your team,
Yeah,
but I feel like that also like justifies me making a like really good kicker, like a high rated kicker, and then going to like a Michigan or an Alabama. It's just like a high profile school. Whereas in like I'm a Michigan fan, and so if I want to make like a crazy running back, it's not very fun to make like a crazy running back and then go play for Michigan. I'd rather
yeah,
make a crazy running back and go play for fucking Rutgers. Be the savior of the school.
but yeah. I think now that we've definitely we're not talking about anime anymore, I think that means it's time to end the episode. So if you did enjoy this episode, like, comment, subscribe to revive Spat. Unless I
I
don't,
hope we have at least one NCAA football fan that listens to this all the way through. That's the dream.
there's just -% chance, but
Listen, if you're the one NCAA football fan, go to the YouTube video, comment. I wish to know you exist.
we're gonna
Maybe
get
it'll be
like
one of
just
the
a
Germans.
friend, yeah, fucking German, yeah,
Listen, I will become friends with the one NCAA fan.
yeah.
We'll get that comment, and I'll be like, send your Discord. We're homies now.
Okay. Anyway, if you are on the audio only side of things, you like to go to the YouTube to comment that you're the NCAA football fan. Is the Order an Anime podcast? We are the only one. Same thing with YouTube to audio only. The link doesn't work in the description because I don't feel like changing it because Spotify sucks. Is the Order an Anime podcast? Can't possibly miss us. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST, without fail, except for when we do. There will be a new episode out for you to enjoy. So, once again, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in another one. Goodbye.